Hello everyone, this is Jesse and welcome to another tutorial. So on this occasion I'm going to show you how I did a mixed media Groot painting that involves collage with actual tree bark. So here, as you can see, I started with an image I found online. The only thing I did was just make it bigger with Photoshop so I could fit it on a 12 by 12 canvas panel. I use carbon tracing paper, as you can see, and a stylus to transfer my image onto the canvas. So the idea for using tree bark came because I was going to do another project in which I wanted to do a collage of trees with actual tree bark and some other recycled materials. Then I decided to put that project into the back burner, if you will. Again, because the idea came to do a Groot project with the bark. I thought it was a unique way to do a collage, plus it was something that I have not seen before. As you can see, the only thing I painted were the background, which I chose to paint a neon green so the image of Groot would stand out. The other colors I used were a dark brown and black for the eyes and the markings on Groot's body. So originally I was going to do a baby Groot in a dancing pose from the opening sequence from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. But when I saw the images, I realized that his face was very smooth, almost like a baby, if you will. It wasn't going to work with the rough texture of the tree bark. Hence why I decided to do Teenage Groot instead. So Teenage Groot, he seems more awkward and had a rougher face. Plus, I love the expression on his face. He has that I'm angry and don't mess with me kind of teen face. So in regards to finding the tree bark, I actually got it from my local park while walking my sister's dog. A couple of months ago, I noticed that most of the trees were shedding their bark, so that's when the whole idea started. Again, I wanted to do another project where I was going to do trees made with a collage of tree bark, but then this idea came along and I decided to use it for this project instead. So most of it was on the ground and some was hanging ready to drop, so no trees were cut or harmed during the making of this project. It took me about a week to find the different tree barks. I picked one piece in one spot, then another piece in another spot, and so on until I had enough. So it's amazing how many different types of trees are in the local parks. You can get different textures and tones just from a few trees. Anyway, that's how I got the bark for this project. So as you can see, I decided to use some Mod Podge to glue the bark. Originally I was going to use a hot glue gun, but realized it wasn't going to work with the little pieces of bark. I think the glue would have shown in the final project. In any case, the Mod Podge worked fine, even though most of the footage for this video is me trying to make sure the bark would stick to the canvas instead of my fingers. Because the bark is rough and uneven, it was really hard to work with it. Plus, it was a little bit delicate. I tried to push some pieces to stick into the canvas and they broke. Again, because of how uneven tree bark is. In the end, it was better to work with small pieces because I was able to do more details. And you can see it especially in the face where I needed to capture Groot's expression. I probably would not be able to do that with the big pieces of bark. You notice it even more when doing the eyes, the cheeks, and the nose area. Those are the areas where the amount of details that makes the face stand out. For the body, I tried to match as much as I could the shape of the bark to the shape of the body. Again, it was hard because the bark is so uneven. And at the beginning, I also tried to use scissors to cut some pieces to shape, but they looked so artificial. So then I started to rip the pieces with my fingers to make them look more natural. And that seemed to work a little bit better. I think the hardest part of making the body was making sure I was able to distinguish the arms from the body. That's why I tried to outline the body. The other hard part was the hands. They were so curvy and the fingers were long and very hard to define. I tried to use different bark tones so I could distinguish the fingers from one another. I think it was the hardest part, and at some point I was thinking in just cutting the piece to make it just the head and shoulders, but I was glad I stick to it. It took a long time, but I liked the way it came out. One thing I noticed immediately after finishing the whole thing is that there were a lot of holes between the pieces of bark. Some fit quite nicely, but others didn't and left some gaps between the pieces. If I had to do it again, I would probably underpaint Groot in some earth tones so you wouldn't see the white from the canvas and the gaps wouldn't be so noticeable between the pieces. And I actually didn't record this part, but I actually painted the gaps using a small brush and dark brown. It made the gaps less noticeable. Well, there you have it, my Groot mixed media collage. So here's the comparison between the original photo and my finished piece. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching, and please hit that subscribe button for more videos. Until next time.